What's going on, Samwise Ganges? Ready to make some sick effing gains on a Saturday. Make sure you drop a comment below, say what's up. What you training today? What are you training today, baby? What's going on? Adam Dennis, yeah. Steven on the Twitch tip. What up, fam? Saturday knowledge nukes, indeed. Indeed. Rightfully so. If you didn't check out yesterday's episode, I think that was yesterday's podcast. It's one of the best podcasts. One of the best podcasts ever. Straight nukes. If you missed 861, do not miss it. That's going to go down. That was a legendary podcast. Next level. Yeah. Loved it. I listened to it myself. I liked it. Turned out great. It felt like rage in the moment. It felt like a lot of rage, but yeah. It was solid. Solid. All right, fam, let's do it. 862 in the house. In the house. Come on in. Oh, it's been nuked, man. It's been nuked. It's done been nuked. Done been nuked, bro. Done been nuked. Hello, Cindy. Remember, fam, time to hit that like button. Make sure you float some hearts, float some thumbs. You made it. You made it. You made it. You're here for the Swole on a Saturday. You're here. Bow, bow. Gia. Good timing. Just got back from the gym. Did the straight arm pull downs from the instructional videos. Isn't that awesome, man? When you really crush it like that. Woo! Full stretch. Wait till the next one I drop. Actually, today is another one coming today. A tricep one, I believe. Alright, shall we dance? Here we go, fam. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it, bish. Let's do it, bish.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Oh, yeah. Testing. Can we get a test? Testing. Test. Testing, bish. Test Ickles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 862 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, sleevescast, slaycast, and jackedcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, bustas, hustlers, and swole hoes on a Sabado? What's going on Saturday? Hello, guys, gals, hello. Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere you listen and watch. Papa Schlezio. I'm going to change my name to Papa Schlezio. You are welcome to indulge. Indulge in the beard, indulge in the bun, and indulge in the cold brew. I'm on to cold brew coffee right now. I'm on to cold brew because it keeps me cooler in a hot environment, and also it's because I went through the hot stuff already. So no more hot stuff. All I got is this. So I didn't feel like making more hot coffee and grinding and sucking. No, just give it to me. Give it to me chill. Plus more caffeine. Did you know that? Cold brew has more caffeine because it just soaks, just leaches all that goodness So, welcome everyone to 862. Yesterday, I was saying it during the intro. If you missed episode 861, if you didn't join yesterday, if you didn't listen to it, I highly recommend getting the podcast and listening to it. It was a great episode. And some of you know this already, but I usually I don't do it as much anymore because I just don't have the time. I'm trying to do other things. But I usually, at least at some point, I'm listening to different parts of the episode. I listen to my own podcasts. I listen to everything. I usually listen to at least part of it. I'll see if I get hooked in, or if I'll listen to a certain section. I'll just play it to hear if the audio quality is good, this, that, and the other. And yesterday I ended up listening from the beginning all the way to the end. The whole thing. I listened to the whole thing. Yeah. I listen to every podcast pretty much. At least part of it. I try to listen to the whole thing if I can. If I want to, I listen to the whole thing, but I usually I listen to the beginning, I listen to the whole thing until I, either get bored or I have to go and do something else. That's how you get better. You have to listen. I have to listen. I have to listen to what it sounds like. I have to listen to all the different parts of it, right? I gotta get so it can get better, so we can keep on dropping. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna get better. It's certainly not gonna get worse. I mean, we're just here just fucking laying down some fitness fire. It's only gonna get better. That's what I meant to say. How couldn't it get better? Of course, like a fine wine, like a fine single malt whiskey. It gets better with age. Getting better, and the beard, this beard needs to get trimmed. Hello from Germany. What up, Germany? Hello. Yes. So anyway, yesterday's episode was fire. It was excellent. So if you want to really slap yourself across the face, if you really want to get your nutrition together, and there's been a lot of nutrition talk, those of you that have been sending me emails, those of you who have been interacting with me, just tons of stuff about nutrition. And we're coming up onto that time of year where it's all just food in your face all the time. It's not just the holidays. When I talk about Halloween and Thanksgiving, it's not just one day in November that's Thanksgiving. It's not one day in October that's Halloween. Every single day is just candy everywhere. You're going to see candy bowls at every bank and supermarket, at work. You're going to have big bowls of candy, especially after Halloween when everyone's trying to get the shit out of their house. You're going to see big bowls of candy everywhere. So all October, it's just candy in your face all the time. Buy this special, only released around this time of year candy. Get all this candy. Everyone's bringing candy. Happy Halloween. Happy fucking costume day. Whatever that is, right? And then after Halloween, it's going to be all the leftover candy that everyone's trying to get rid of out of their house. And then it's going to be the Thanksgiving. And then you're going to have your work Thanksgiving and then your friends Thanksgiving. So people have Thanksgiving on different days now. It's not just fucking Thursday. It's Wednesday or Tuesday or Saturday, because not only do you have to have Thanksgiving with your family, you got to have fucking Thanksgiving with everyone you know and work with too. So it's just people bringing in their leftovers, and then, it's like a week. It's like a week of actual Thanksgiving dinners, and then the leftovers for another week. And then you're already on to Hanukkah and Halloween. I'm not Halloween, Christmas. And what's the difference, right? Halloween, Christmas, it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit now. It's really blending together. Unless you're really, really religious, it's really the same shit. So then you have Christmas, and then you have New Year's, and then there's the hangover for a week or two while you're, just bringing yourself to consciousness in 2019, and all of a sudden, holy shit, where'd the last 3 or 4 months of my life go? And you're 40 pounds heavier, and this, that, and the other. So it's coming. So talking about nutrition is really important. This time of year, and don't think it won't creep up on you and pound you every single day. You're going to be in the middle of it soon. I'm just warning you. I am warning you. It's coming. The fucking storm is coming. And no one really pays attention because, it's a month away, or it's 2 weeks away, or it's 2 months away. It's going to be in your face before you know it, and it's going to destroy you. Or you can do something about it. And we'll talk more about that in the next few days. All right. I'm ramping everyone up. I'm going to hook everyone up. Especially when the new program Vault releases. I'm so amped for those of you that are in Swole X. I don't want to get too far off topic. I want to get into the nutrients, but those of you that are in Swole X, there's some juice coming, man. Oh, it's coming out nice. It's coming out nice. Chuck, I don't gain much during holidays. I'm just always fat. Well, are you happy with that? Or do you want to change that? It's really up to you, right? You don't have to lose weight if you don't want to. But I guess that's the one thing about being fat already. You don't have to worry about gaining fat. You don't have to worry about it. That's actually an interesting standpoint. It's not just a funny joke. But when you have extra body fat, if you already have the fat around your stomach that you're trying to get rid of, you already have the fat around your arms, around your thighs, you don't notice additional fat really as much, do you? You don't realize the change. You don't realize that when you're piling on more. That's actually an interesting angle or perspective on it, because then you could just really snowball that in a bad way. You just gain and gain more because you don't notice additional gain. You're already not happy with the area. You don't stare at it. You don't look at it because you don't really want to address it. You look at it and you're not happy with it. You want to get rid of it. So you're not looking at it all the time. You don't notice those incremental additions to it. So everything matters. And if you have that kind of stuff there already, your body is already in a wrong way or a bad place when it comes to metabolizing nutrients and inflammation in the body. So it's important to get started with that for sure, as soon as possible, because the sooner you start, the sooner you can get that momentum and figure things out. Dash, what's up, baby? Ever heard of Fit Rebellion Thoughts? No, I have no idea what that is. Def not happy. I've started going back to the gym. Good. That's a start. What about the nutrition, though? What about the food? Coming down to the food. Aaron, I was 265, now 210 from improving my diet. Stick with it. Huge changes and huge progress can be made just with diet alone. So let's talk about nutrient timing. And let's define what nutrient timing is for this episode at least. I'm just going to define how we're going to talk about nutrient timing, which means when you're eating your meals. I'm not going to talk about how much vitamin C you need or how much vitamin whatever. I'm talking about when you are consuming your food. And I want to simplify this concept for you because yesterday I gave you 5 or 6. I said 5. I gave you a little bonus. I gave you about 5 tips, just things to hack right away to get your food more under control. And I laid down a long smack at the beginning of yesterday's episode 861 for those that love a number, that it's easy. Gotta stop labeling things as syndromes, diseases, challenges, struggles. Have to stop labeling shit. Have to stop labeling shit in your life, because when you label it, it gives you that whole negative connotation, and it makes a mountain out of a molehill. If you've ever heard that phrase before, it makes a big deal out of not such a big deal. And we love drama in the United States or in society. We love it on Instagram. I mentioned yesterday the Kardashians, soap operas. We love drama. We love movies. We love excitement. We love things that stand out, that stimulate. I think having those little struggles in our lives are subconscious ways to make our lives more exciting or make it just more vibrant. Like there's a tug of war going on. There's a battle I'm fighting. It's also a way to make an excuse. It's a way to be a victim and have it not be your fault directly. So it makes you feel better about not putting in effort. And that's really the major reason. But there's also this dramatized aspect of it. When it comes to, we got some questions. Let's see. Bro, the nuke just went off. My phone died. Is it true as you get older, it's harder to lose the weight because your metabolism gets slower? Yes. You lose muscle mass, your hormones change, and yeah, it's harder to lose the weight. It's harder to lose extra body fat. It's not impossible, but a lot of things get more, they change. Your body is going through a different period of its existence. And when you lose muscle mass, your metabolic rate will decrease because you have less living tissue on your body. That's why when you're building muscle, it takes more calories to maintain that muscle because you have to support living tissue. Fat is stored energy. Muscle needs to be fed. Think about it that way, right? Muscle is a mouth to feed. Fat is the fuel that you want to feed the fat. Now, it doesn't really work like that. You don't just feed your muscle fat. You don't turn fat into muscle. None of that. I'm not going to get into the physiology of that process right now. But when you have more muscle, your metabolic rate will increase. So you're burning energy. You're utilizing energy at a higher rate. So when you put your body into periods where it needs to find energy, it can go to those energy stores on your body. And that will happen. You will lose or you will utilize that stored fat if you are also hydrating properly, if you're also sleeping properly. Many of you aren't even getting the basics. You're not even sleeping properly. So your hormones are messed up. Your stress is too high. So that's a big one. And most people don't get enough sleep because of cell phones and TV and just blue light, computers and everything. That's a tough one. People are chronically sleep deprived. And that's a big one for weight loss. Usually just sleeping better, you'll start dropping weight if you get regular sleep. Hasn't been hard for me, Papa. Good. You don't count nutrients. I do not count macronutrients. No. I need to stay off sweets. It's a matter of making the decision to do it. I posted on Instagram this past week that change doesn't take time. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take anything but commitment. If you really want to make a change, if you really want to lose weight, I'm telling you, I have things that can help. And there are a lot of things out there that help. And you can do keto or paleo or vegan. It doesn't really matter what you do. It's not going to work if you're not consistent with it. And even if you're consistent with something, it doesn't mean it's going to work anyway. There's too much expectation. There's too much expectation when it comes to nutrition, I think. There's too much expectation with what's going to happen. Just because you went from not eating or eating fast food and junk and you're going to go do keto or paleo, you put too high I don't want to say a price tag, but too high of an expectation on what that change will mean. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't result in the same effect for everyone. Just because you're deciding to stick with something a little bit doesn't give you the right to have it work. It doesn't mean it's going to right for you. You need to be consistent. You need to be doing it all the time. And understand that even if you do it all the time, it doesn't mean that it's going to work. Just because it has a name like keto and that's popular now doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Even if you do it to the best of your ability. And let's say you do it perfectly, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Going vegan, it doesn't mean that's going to work for you. Just because you do it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Maybe some of those foods, maybe a lot of vegetables cause you inflammation. Maybe you go keto and you eat too much dairy and cheese, and that's can be very, very inflammatory to people. Maybe you go paleo and you don't realize that you are having a reaction to tomatoes, to nightshades. And so you have to really be patient, absolutely. And you have to really put all your effort into it. So there's that doing it and committing and doing the best that you can, and then still realizing that just because you're doing the best you can and putting all your effort into it and being consistent, it still doesn't mean that's going to work. It's kind of crazy, right? It's, oh shit, just because I'm doing it, I'm finally doing it. I've been going to the gym every day and this, okay, well, it doesn't mean that you're going to see results right away. It doesn't mean that what you're doing in the gym is the best thing for you. So you have to learn, you have to keep on going. You can get discouraged and then stop working out and be like, oh, I'm not losing weight fast enough. This sucks. And stop going to the gym. Or you can start getting on a right program and start turning up your intensity and learning and investing your time. It really has to be I don't want to say an obsession, but it has to be your investment, your energy, your time, priority. You average 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Ooh. Any advice on a good protein powder for a quick shake? No, I don't recommend any of them. Real food. And protein powders, and you don't need a protein powder. You just need to get enough protein throughout the day. So you don't need a quick shake for protein. You'll be fine as long as you're getting in enough protein throughout the day. I don't recommend any protein shakes. Eat food. I gave up on sugar and eat real food, not into fad diets. Well, I'm not into like a name on a diet. I'm into the elimination process, which is also called the elimination diet, but I'm into that way of determining what foods are best for you. And I don't think that calories don't count. I don't think that calories don't matter. They obviously matter and they exist, but it's not the number one stop. You need to figure out what foods you need to be eating first, and then you can worry about how much you're consuming. You need to reset your body by not giving it inflammatory foods, and then you can worry about, oh, am I eating too much? Should I eat less? It's going to be very, very hard. And any of you that are eating the right foods and you're eating real food and you're not cheating at all and you're focusing on your shit, you did an elimination, you know what works best for your body, or at least you're actively pursuing it all the time, you know that it's very hard for you to overeat because you'll get full. You're getting nutrients. Your food is very nutrient dense when you're eating real whole foods. So you're going to get full quicker. You're going to feel that fullness, that satiety. You're going to feel that because you're getting all the food in. The nutrients, you're getting the vitamins, you're getting the protein, you're getting the fat, you're getting real food. You're not eating fast food. You're not eating empty carbohydrates that are processed, that are devoid of nutrients. That's why you overeat that stuff, because you don't get the same signals. Your body is not getting what it needs from those foods. So when you get the right food, you tend to not overeat. It usually solves itself. That problem of eating too many calories when you're eating real food, it almost solves itself. That's why I want you to focus on eating the right foods first, because most of you want to lose weight in terms of body fat. I don't know anyone that wants to put on fat. I don't really get that question. Hey, how do I put on more body fat? It's usually I want to gain muscle, right? I want to gain weight. When you want to gain weight, you're trying to gain muscle, yeah? When you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to lose fat. No one's trying to lose muscle and gain fat. So eating the right food will help you gain too, because if you're repairing your digestive system, if you have less inflammation in your gut, you'll be able to absorb nutrients better, so you can gain muscle better. So those of you that have trouble gaining, it could be because you're inflamed and you're not able to absorb nutrients well through your small intestine and stuff. And if you're having trouble losing weight, when you have inflammation, your body is in a defensive, warlike state, and you'll have more bloating, more water retention. Cortisol levels will be higher. You're not sleeping right, so you're still fucked up because you're not repairing. I mean, there's a lot of things. Dehydration. Think about all these basic things I just mentioned. I didn't even mention counting calories, and you're already just holding weight and holding water. And that's why many of you, when you cut down on calories, come on, tell me if this is you or you've experienced this before. You counted calories. How many of you have ever counted calories, restricted calories, done that macro shit, and not lost weight? In the comments right now, how many of you have ever done a calorie counting, calorie restriction type diet plan where you measured, you counted, you restricted, you ate less than you were maintaining, right? And you didn't lose weight. You didn't lose weight, or at least nowhere near what you should have or what you need to, right? Let's say you're 30 or 40 pounds overweight, you lost 5 pounds or something like that, right? Top 3 foods to help raise testosterone. I don't know. Don't know what the top 3 foods are. Probably sleep, and probably not even a food. Sleep, hydration, eating real whole foods. I love my grass-fed beef, but I don't know what the correlation between red meat and testosterone is directly. When you go kill the bear, do you moon him first? No. Why would someone take a vascular dilator, or is this a waste of money? And people like to say that when you're taking these like supplements and pre-workouts and stuff, that's going to dilate your veins. I mean, you drink water and you go crush some weights, you'll dilate pretty well. All right, so I get a lot of people, fuck yeah, it stalls fast for years with no progress. I did, it worked for a while, then everything stalled. I have. A lot of people are waving on Instagram. Okay, so that has been established, and I have to wait a little bit because the comments are delayed a little bit. Yeah, Michelle, I used to count calories and write in a food journal. It got exhausting. No need to now. So there's also that quality of life aspect. There's always the quality. There's also the quality of life aspect, how it is to actually count your calories and measure and weigh. And I've done it myself in the past, like years ago, to make sure that I was getting sufficient. But that's when I was bulking. The only time I would ever count or want to know what I'm eating is if I'm trying to gain, I'm trying to bulk, because it's very, very hard, in my opinion. It's harder to bulk than it is to cut. I'm talking about bulk, like build muscle, because you're training super hard and you're pounding food. It's much more challenging to gain than lose. And that's my opinion. But I mean, it's so hard to gain lean muscle and eat that much food all the time. So I would count to make sure, and I would like approximate to make sure that I was eating enough, because when you get full, you're stuffed. But if you look down at the numbers, like, shit, I really just did not eat enough. I need another sweet potato, or I need another, you're like, fuck. And then you're eating and you're like, oh, and you feel nauseous, like you're going to throw up. And I used to gag. I used to take a bite and have to put my hand over my mouth, and I would have like a little gag reflex, and then I would eat and swallow it and drink water and flush it down. Bulking's crazy, man. Bulking is crazy. Bulking is crazy, especially when you're eating the right foods. You're not just pounding pizza and garbage, not dirty bulking. You're just eating good food, but a lot of it is hard, especially when you have to do it every fucking day. It's hard. Imagine just being always overfed, always overfeeding yourself. It's like the meat industry, right? When they're pumping cows full of hormones and grains to plump them up, to make them grow faster so they can slaughter them. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's hard. It's super hard to gain. Like I said, I think it's harder to gain than it is to lose. I think it's hard to gain, really hard. And so when it comes to counting calories, let's say you have done this, and I'm getting a lot of comments saying that I have done this, or you have done this and it failed. So you're counting calories, you're restricting your calories, and you're not losing weight. You're not losing enough weight. It's not working. It's stressing you out mentally. It's a pain in the fucking ass to weigh, to measure, to count, to log. You feel so restricted, like you're in school and you're being punished every time. You're not happy with the way you look in the fucking mirror. You're not what you feel. It's just taking over your life. And in that case, right? In that case, because you're trying to go by the number. You're trying to go by the number. But it's not working because you're eating the wrong shit. And if you're eating the wrong stuff from the beginning, it's causing you inflammation. It's causing you problems. It's causing you issues that restrictions in the volume of it is not going to help. It's a poison, whether you're getting 500 calories of the poison or 2,000 calories of poison. It's causing inflammation in the lining, in the membrane of your intestines. It's causing gaps. It's causing separation. It's causing autoimmune responses in your gut. That is a problem that goes far beyond just the number of calories. So for those people that are wondering why they're gaining weight or how come I'm not losing as fast, and you're eating a caloric deficit, it's because those foods that are inflammatory to you are causing problems far beyond just the number of calories that you consume them. It's actually impacting you more after the fact. It's impacting you for a couple days after. It's not just, I ate food today, I was under my calories, I won. It's not a basketball game, yo. It's not a football game. That's a huge problem. Don't you see that? That's a huge problem when it comes to your nutrition. It's not I scored more points than you, so I won. Or you scored less points, so you lost. It's not that simple. There are so many factors with human nutrition. Yes, it's calories. Yes, it's macronutrients. Where those macronutrients are from, it's your genetics, it's your lifestyle habits, it's all these different aspects, your sleep, your hydration, all these different parts that add in. It's all these different aspects, and it's various combinations of those. It can't be understated. It can't be understated the importance of what you are eating. When it comes to nutrient timing, and I'm aware that for those of you that might be watching the live stream, that it might be a little choppy. I just got another connection alert. So if you're watching on Instagram, you should be fine. But if you're watching the stream, it might be a little bit choppy once in a while. I'm not sure why. It's fluctuating. it's very important that you know what you're consuming, because poison in any capacity is going to be different. You might have some people that consume a lot of dairy and they claim to not have any issues. Then some people are hardcore lactose intolerant, and even a small amount will blow them up. There's a lot of gray in this world. There are a lot of different combinations. There are a lot of different, I guess that's the right word. There's a lot of different, it's like the lottery. How many different number combinations can you choose? That's not even a fraction of how many different subtle environmental changes and environmental combinations with your genetic code. Like your genetics, like every single person that's watching this and listening to this, you are an absolute individual. Let's think about that for a second, okay? We're all human beings, but each and every single one of you is literally an individual. Literally an individual. There is no one else on earth exactly like you. There's no one. There might be some people that look like you. There might be someone, hey, you remind me of so-and-so I used to know back in elementary school. Okay? You might have a quote-unquote twin, but you're not it. You're not a twin at all. Your entire gut biome is different. Your genetics are different. Everything about you, every single cell is completely different than the other person. All those factors, the endless combinations, are going to lead to what bothers you, what helps you, what inspires you, what keeps you disciplined, what keeps you, if you want to use the word motivated, what keeps you not getting bloated, what time you like to go to sleep, the system. Like everyone's going to have their thing that keeps them on point. Everyone's going to have their routine. Everyone's going to have their needs. Some people are going to love intermittent fasting. To get back, bring this to the topic as well. Some people are going to love intermittent fasting. Some people shouldn't be doing intermittent fasting because they overeat, because they get starving and ravenous. Some people should not be doing low carb. Some people should be doing low carb. Some people should not be eating tomatoes. Some people can eat tomatoes and have no problem. There are many, many, many different foods and subtleties, healthy foods that are actually unhealthy, and a lot of things that aren't brought to the surface unless you're doing testing as well as an elimination diet. And it's just, you can't just dictate to everyone, eat this at this time, don't eat all day, don't eat until after 4 o'clock, right? There's a certain circadian rhythm with your digestive system, like a 12-hour window, time restricted eating, with a time window where your body has enzymes essentially that will better metabolize food. So when you're eating late at night outside that window, that 12-hour window that you start when you first eat, you're going to have less ability to shuttle those nutrients around. You're going to tend to store more body fat. You're going to tend to feel more bloated. And most people are eating all the time. We're staying up later and later. We're not sleeping enough. We're not hydrating enough. We're eating processed carbs. It's not just one thing. It is some of those one individual things, but it's also those plus all the different combinations and interactions between those things and other. It's the processed carbohydrates with the lack of sleep. Processed carbs aren't good in themselves, but then add them to a lack of sleep. Come on, you're getting a stronger like superhero, right? You're with your powers combined, I am inflammation planet. Right? You have the inflammatory food, then you also have the lack of sleep. Then you also have the lack of hydration. Then you also have the lack of exercise. Then you also have the stress. Then you also have the environmental toxins. Then you also have the blue light and the noise pollution, the light pollution. You have all these things, the water quality. There's many, many, many subtleties. And some people are more resilient than others. Some people are going to have a lot of problems. Some people are going to have less problems. Some people seemingly can eat more stuff and, quote, get away with it. Other people can't so much. But that whole somatotype, I'm an endomorph, I'm an ectomorph, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. There are a lot of things that habitually compound over time that lead us down the wrong path. We're always trying to categorize things. We're always trying to make an excuse. Because if I'm an endomorph, then, I can't do anything about it. What am I going to do? Stop categorizing yourself. Stop pigeonholing yourself. Stop making up shit. You need to step up your game. The nutrient timing, don't worry about it. Literally, don't worry about it. That's what this episode's about. And most of you have heard me say that many times already. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about whether you're fasting or not. You don't need to fast to lose weight. You don't need to intermittent fast to lose weight. You don't need to count your macros to lose weight. You don't need to go keto to lose weight. You don't need to. What you should be doing is not thinking about what you should be doing, but how would you determine the best foods to eat? What are you consuming? Not how much, right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how much you should eat. That's not the main problem. That's not the main concern. It's not the main concern how much. Who cares? Who cares? That's the next question. That's a couple questions down. Doesn't matter how much. You don't even know what you're eating yet. Who cares how much? You can't go by the number first. If you're not eating the right foods, it doesn't matter if you're eating 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories. If the nutrients aren't there, if it's not quality food, you eat 3,000 calories, you're still going to be malnutritioned. You're still not going to have enough. If you ate potato chips all the time and you eat 3,000 calories of potato chips, you're still not getting all the nutrients, even if you eat 3,000 calories of them. So don't worry about how much. Think about the food and how are you going to determine which foods are best? How are you going to determine which foods you should be consuming? That's done by the elimination. That's done by testing it. That's done by cutting out these foods. And that's the simple part. That's the exaggerated, dramatized part. Oh my God, I can't eat that. I have all these cravings. Yes, a heroin addict has cravings too. A crackhead has cravings too. An alcoholic has cravings too. You create these addictions. You create this dependency, this dopamine release by eating these foods, these simple sugars that give you this high. It's called a sugar rush for a reason. Essentially, when you feed your kids sugar, you're giving them drugs. You're giving them that same drug response. Same fucking thing. You're giving them the same drug response. And that is going to be an issue for them because they're always going to have this need to get that bump, to get that hit. You're training them to be addicted to this stuff at a young age. That's not good. Most of you know what a craving feels like. Oh, I want that so bad. Do you really? Are you really that hungry? Do you really need pizza? Do you really need bread? You're having a craving. That's different than I'm hungry. Your body's not saying I need nutrients. It's a craving. It's the smell. It's that association. It's literally not even what it is. It's your body's association with the feeling you'll get when you put it in your mouth. It's that anticipation of the instant gratification. Your body knows how it's going to feel when you eat it. Logically, you can pause and think, I'm probably going to feel like shit after I eat it, but that desire to eat it and get that rush right now is so strong, you eat it and you feel like fucking crap afterwards. You're stupid. You're stupid. Oh, I know I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to regret this. Then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it if you know you're going to regret it? That's foolish. I know when I jump off this bridge, I'm going to die, but oh well. I know when I put my hand on a hot stove, it's going to hurt, but oh shoot. Just that searing heat right now is going to, it feels so good. I'll regret it later, but I got to have it now. It's literally the same thing. You know, logically, you're going to feel like shit. You know, logically, you're going to feel like crap. You know, logically, you're going to feel like crap. Is that true? Is that true, Aaron? Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. Well, I mean, most people consume sugar a lot more than they do cocaine, so I wouldn't doubt it. Anyone else have figures like that? I wouldn't be surprised. If anything, even if we just have the conversation saying, okay, sugar is equally, even if you say equally as addictive as cocaine, isn't that enough right there? Whether it's 2 times or 4 times or 8 times or 100 times, it's either, if it's the same, I think if you put that in that category, everyone thinks, oh my God, cocaine. Sugar does the same kind of release. Same type of release. Same type of dopamine release. You get that same high. You've heard this term, sugar high. You've heard this term before. You know this term. It's a phrase. People say it. It's a sugar high for a reason because you're getting high. You're getting high. You get that rush. That's why it feels so good. It's not the sugar. It's that feeling of the sugar. It's that feeling. It's that neurotransmitter release. My kids can't have sugar and junk in the house. Yeah, everything can be a problem. There are a lot of problems out there. We live in a world where there's a lot of chaos, right? There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of shit that is trying to get in our way. So when you want abs, when you want to lose weight, nothing's in your favor, really. Obviously, there's a lot of temptation. I wouldn't even say temptation, but there's a lot of opportunity to eat things that you shouldn't be eating. I understand that. When I go down the street, I see that. I see the fast food. When you go to the supermarket, you see all the things on the shelf. The end caps are trying to shove Chips Ahoy, cookies, Tostitos and stuff always, right? Anytime there's a holiday right at the front of the supermarket, you have the salsa and the long line of chips and sodas that they put out there. Whatever holiday it is, they'll load up all the candy, Valentine's Day, all these things, they load it all up right there in front. So I know it's all there. Remember, yesterday I said the same thing. I am on the same earth as you are. So don't think that I have anything, don't think I have a different situation than all of you. I have the same situation. I'm on planet Earth too. I have the same temptations. I see the same stores. I see the same fast food restaurants. I smell the same things outside a pizza place. Like I have the same experiences as you do. I walk into the supermarket. I smell the fried chicken in the front by the deli where they make the sandwiches and the subs. I smell it all. I see it. Just got to keep your focus. It's discipline. You either cheat and you go down that road or you don't. There aren't different paths. It's either yes or no. You eat that stuff and you succumb or you don't. A lot of different options. There's a lot of great food out there. You just have to eat that instead. Everyone's like, well, that's the problem. I eat the other food instead of that shit. From Joe Linton, from a medical standpoint, sugar and cocaine affect the same part of the brain. Yep. They did MRI studies for sugar and cocaine. Sugar light up vastly larger parts of the brain versus cocaine. Well, it's very apparent and it's very obvious that people are addicted, if you want to call it that, to sugar. They're hooked on sugar. It's all the places where you don't realize that you're sugar or that you're getting sugar. You're getting sugar in bread. You're getting sugar. They put sugar in bread. You're getting sugar in, of course, your chips. You're getting sugar in your juices. You're getting sugar everywhere. Everywhere you're finding sugar, especially when you have candy and things like that. That's just compressed sugar in different concentrations. That's just pure sugar. But even in your breads and your quote whole grain breads and your pastas, there's sugar in it. And a lot of times it's added sugar. There's that balance. Remember, salt and sweet, that makes your brain not turn off essentially and makes you want to keep on eating and eating and eating. It changes how your body perceives satisfaction and fullness. So there's different ways your body will perceive fullness. You'll either have enough, let's say, nutrients or weight. Your body will send signals back like we have enough in the stomach, right? If there's something you're eating that's kind of puffy, I guess like that's a lot more volume, fibrous. That's why foods that have fiber are thought to be good because they give you more body to more, I can't even think of the word right now, but more volume to the food. So more bulk, I guess would be the right word. And you'll feel more full. But eating slowly, allowing your body's, your hormones, your endocrine system to send the signals back to the brain, eating slower will let you stop eating when you're full and not overeat. And when you eat processed foods, it's very easy to keep on pounding that food because the way high fructose corn syrup and the sugar works, you don't get the same signals sent back to the brain in time. There's a delay. There's a delay in the hormone balance, and you tend to eat more before you realize that you've had enough. And you've probably ate several hundred calories more than you needed. Then you feel sick 10 to 15 minutes later because there's a delay. There's like a 10, 15 minute delay. What other things are you addicted to? Me? Nothing. Making sick fucking gains. What else are you live streaming on? Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, Periscope, YouTube. And the podcast goes on everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Daily Swole Podcast, everybody. Daily Swole. So focus on what you're consuming. The nutrient timing, don't worry about that yet. You don't need all of that. You don't need to worry about fasting. You don't need to worry about how much did I eat right after my workout. If you're eating enough protein throughout the day, if you're eating enough calories throughout the day, Don't worry so much about the anabolic window, all those things that are really debunked at this point. Okay? Your body is designed to be without food. Your body is designed to eat food. And as long as you're consistent, remember, we make the day. We created this system. We created this organization. Yes, the daily cycle and all this stuff, but we never stop living. We don't stop when we sleep. It's not one day and then bookmark and then the next day. It's nonstop. So it's being constantly in a caloric surplus, training hard enough. It's a constant flow. There's no break in your life. You're just not awake for some of it, but you're always, so it's a cumulative effect. It's not just what you ate before and then right after your training. It's not segmented like that. Time doesn't stop after 24 hours. It keeps on going endlessly. So it's that accumulation. It's that cumulative effect. Don't forget, it's not like split up and bookmarked and separated. They're all mashed together. Time does not separate. Would you say they're good addictions? Well, addiction by definition is something that interferes with your life. So if you mean obsession, yes, probably. Depends. That's very subjective. Strange question. Not that strange, but anyway. I mean, addiction to health and to being healthy, sure. But addiction by definition usually isn't a good thing. Obsession is different than addiction. So fam, focus. This weekend, Saturday, yes, we're going to listen to yesterday's episode. That's your homework. If you missed 8621, that's something you need to do. And with nutrition, very, very simple. You need to get your body consuming the right foods. You need to be eating the right foods. I'm telling you, you have to get your food intake anti-inflammatory. Get rid of the waste. Get rid of the stuff that does not serve you. And then you can start thinking about these different eating styles. Don't worry about keto. Don't worry about vegan. Don't worry about paleo. Start cutting out major inflammatory foods. A lot of these diet plans do, which is why some people see results right away really quickly because they're flushing out processed carbs, in which case you'll lose water, so you drop weight really quickly, but then you plateau. And that comes back to when we discussed this episode about restricting caloric intake, how you'll still potentially not lose weight because you're still consuming inflammatory foods. So that's number one, cutting out those inflammatory foods, making sure you're eating the right foods. All right, fam. Make sure you go check out 861 if you haven't. Check out the latest drops on YouTube at Swolenormous, and I'll see some of you over on Instagram. We'll be posting some new stuff today. And I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 863 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Peace out, fam. Peace, McGeese. Deuce, Magoose. Papa Swolio. Out.